Hiragana isn't hard if you just sing along. This is the adult themed Hiragana opera rock song. If you love your cousin, you really should know that I and Itoko use a, e, ooh, eh, oh. Whether you have an apple cut or fro, kami no ke needs kakiku keko, and chinge and mange both need kakiku keko. Sushi and sashimi come from fresh sashisu.
But the G on your fat oshiri needs Zajizuzezo.
Got blood on your hands, you'll need Tachitsu Teto. Got blood on your nose, you'll need Dajitsu Teto. When you don't know what's up, you say Nani Nune no. Overstay your visa and you'll be Kyosei Sokan Desho. We all have body parts inside of Mami Mumemo. But what body part is from the Gutenashi Mango? Both Santa and your mama need ha-he-hu he-ho. You can't write chimpo or penis without habibu-pepo. If your oba-san likes boryoku, she'll use babi-boo-bebo. You eat too much, you are a kuishimo. Drink too much, you're sakezuki dayo. Need a new verb? Just add a ru from rari rure ro. When you see wa wo and un, it's about time to go. Try not to sound rude with ya, you and yo.
Hey everyone. All right. Oh my God. Welcome to the live stream. It's Japanese from Zero. This is office hours. Nothing in particular is happening today. Literally, I have done nothing all day. This is the first thing I'm doing besides taking a shower. This is it. I woke up, I ate, I watched some TV, I slept, I ate, I watched some YouTube, and now we're doing a live stream. I was up way too late last night working on book work, the novel. But now we're doing a live stream. So if you've got questions, any questions, we're not limited to just Japanese. Let me close out that stupid song. Sounded a lot better, I thought, when I recorded it. It is a Saturday. It's 6 p.m. I'm not sure if anyone's going to be here, but we'll see. So far, there's 4 of us. That's not a good start. Maybe I'm outstaying my welcome doing too many live streams. We'll find out, though. So last night, I went through all the work on the novel I've been working on, getting through all of the changes requested by my editor, Violet, and then we uploaded a version of it. It finally took me all day today to finally get it ordered, a copy of it. So probably in about 10 days, I'll have a copy of it to actually look at it again. Wow, it's quiet today. My microphone keeps exploding. I wonder how long I can just sit here and not say anything until someone says something. Just for today as a challenge. Let's see, starting now. No, challenge did not fail. I was waiting for someone to say something. That was you. That was you, Mark. You failed the challenge, not me. I kept my end of the bargain. Unlike you, who doesn't keep your end of the bargain. Thank you. Appreciate it. Now there's 6 of us. We are now on the way to being again the top 100 stream. Very exciting. I was watching this Kore Kore episode today in the shower, and which was appropriate because this was really a dirty Kore Kore. And I'm pretty sure I was thinking it had to be fake because it was so crazy. But then the girl that was talking to Kore Kore, who claimed she was somehow affiliated with the Yakuza and she was gonna not put a hit on somebody, but she said, I think that's what she was saying. Like she had hit people before and she was gonna do another hit and she was gonna get help with this Wakagashira, which from the Yakuza game I learned means a young head of the clan, you know. She's there's like a young guy like a upper guy in the clan. She's gonna have help, and she couldn't say the clan's name, but she tried to call him and he didn't answer. And then she sent some text, and she sent the text screenshots back to Kore Kore, and it was like she was saying all this crazy stuff, and then the guy was like, "I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, what are you talking about?" And that was a failure. And then she's like, "Well, there's another way I could contact someone on TikTok." So she's like, "I'll do a TikTok live." And so she goes to do a TikTok live, and Kore Kore is watching it. And I guess she goes to the bathroom, and Kore Kore is getting a little bit worried. He's like, does she not have anything on underneath? And she didn't. And immediately he like moves the screen away so you can't see it on the live stream because he was rebroadcasting it. And then, oh my gosh, Kore Kore is just exploding in laughter. Like she's literally naked on the stream. And then within like a minute or so, she gets banned. And then she's like, oh, sorry about that. And then she starts a tweet cast, I guess is what they call it, tweetcast. And so she starts a Twitter cast. And on the Twitter cast, again, she's like, oh, maybe I should do some twirl kicks. And again, she has nothing on, but she can't see it. They're not showing it. He's not showing it. And she then lifts her shirt and just Kore Kore is losing it. And I'm losing it because it's hilarious. Like I've seen so many Kore Kores, but never this one that crazy. And then eventually she gets banned from Twitter, Tweetcast, wherever it's called. And then she goes over to Kick, which, you know, anything goes on Kick. But then right on Kick, from the very first shot, she's like just standing there with her shirt up on this cast. And luckily Kore Kore wasn't, he was already worried. But it was just so funny that she did it right away, knowing that he was always showing the first few seconds. And I don't know if part of her goal was to get Kore Kore banned for restreaming porn or something like that. But oh my God, it was funny. It was just the reactions that Kore Kore had, and the stream listeners were just going crazy. It was pretty funny. But I guess the thing I always get watching Kore Kore is like, Japan has just as many really stupid people as America. I've always I always thought I was immune to the whole like those people that watch anime and think Japan is like a fantasy world where everything's awesome. But I think I definitely have a version of that in my head because my wife is so awesome and my friends are so awesome, that whenever I find a Japanese person that's trash, I have a hard time believing it. I have a friend. You know, I'm not gonna talk about this. This is too much. Let's say this. I have a friend that did something and she told me about it and I couldn't believe it and I was just so shocked. And I still to this day, I can't process it in my head. KIK is the thing. KIK is the thing. That's when you type LOL wrong, right? KIK. That's my understanding. Like, it's right next to the LOL on the keyboard. Is that what you've done? Or do you mean getting banned from Kick is a thing? Yeah, so anyway, that's pretty much all I did today. I mean, it is a Saturday, and I was up until, I think, 4 a.m. last night, so forgive me. I'm on a bad schedule. I gotta start running again. I gotta start running again and get my body in shape again. I'm pretty sure I gained all the weight I lost when I was running. Pretty sad. But that's led to bad sleeping schedule and all sorts of things. Anyway, if you have questions, let's talk anything. On I'll restate my goal again. I have been everything. My goal is to have more general streams where we talk about general things, and every now and then a Japanese question can come in. Now that doesn't mean that you can't ask it at any time. You can ask Japanese questions at any time. That's my most competent subject. But if you have other questions, you can ask them. And then my bigger goal will be eventually I cut out the Japanese, or someone cuts out the Japanese parts, and those go up on this channel. And the non-Japanese parts, if they're interesting, they get cut out and put into some sort of clip stream, maybe over on Polyglot George. That's the idea. Now, why would I do that? It's a shift in strategy. When I make a video teaching purely Japanese, the views are very low. Mostly, I think, this is my thought, number one, I suck. Number two being, there's other ways to get Japanese information now, so you don't have to purely come to watch my channel. And also, probably the biggest reason is that Japanese from Zero Book 5 material is too advanced for most people, so they don't watch it. They go back and watch the lower videos, which explains why the lower videos have such higher views. So my thought was, because it's a balance, right? You want to teach what's in the books, but also you want to sell books, and you want to sell From Zero Access so that the company has income, right? So is it better to keep producing Japanese videos that most people aren't going to watch, or would it be better to have some sort of method for more people to watch, and then every now and then you talk about the books, and then more people are exposed to it? I think that's the way to go, because I would like to expose more people to how fun it is to learn a language. And I think it's even more important now with the advent of all of this AI is to, well, now that you're exposed to more culture because of AI, maybe you're able to watch more things because AI can translate it. Why don't you learn it? Why don't you take the effort to learn it? And it's the same thing for me. I'll tell you, I really have been thinking about taking music lessons, like to play more and more instruments, and then actually make music myself after making music with the AI for a while. That's what I've been thinking. It's that kind of a thing. Okay, so KIK is getting kicked from Kick. I just always assume if you're streaming on Kick, you're a bad person. I always assume you're only there because that's the only place you could be. Now, if I'm eventually there, that's my fault, right? Maido arigato. Rened U2. Rened U2. I'm going to guess Renedu 2. I don't have any topics today. I really don't. It's kind of a lull in between all the big projects that I had been doing. The novel's nearing the end. Spanish from Zero's out. All of the new covers have been processed for the Japanese from Zero series, which is the biggest one. Korean's coming. Probably next week or so, the Korean books will get their new covers. Book 1 for Japanese from Zero still hasn't processed. I think because that book gets so many orders, all of the printers that we use, they have to process those orders before they push the new cover, so that stays there, the old version, until the new ones process, or until the old orders process. I think that's what's happening. You said Atari, but the problem is this isn't real time, so I don't know which version I said. René du 2, I think was it. Are you French or something? Yeah, I don't even think I have a Kick account. How do you handle cultural differences, disagreements with Japanese people? Cody Bilbray 4811. Well, how do you handle it with people that don't have a language difference with you? Because even within your own language, there's people that have different cultural differences. That could be, for example, believing in the death penalty and not believing in the death penalty, or religious differences or something like that. One way is to avoid those people if it bothers you. If there's people that you know in your life that can't handle a cultural difference, that are Japanese, for example, or that are Korean. For example, religion's one that if someone's too much into the religion and they can't have normal conversations, well, then I will bow out of that relationship. I've had my cultural differences, even with my wife. It's bound to happen because if you're raised in a completely different society, there's no way you're not going to have different cultural ways of thinking. But really, the best thing to do, honestly, my opinion, just don't talk about those things. Don't fight it. You will never change someone's mind. Think about it. Have you ever changed anyone's mind? You can't, trust me, I know. You can't force someone to change their mind at all. You can't shame them into changing their mind. You can't make them feel guilty. You can't cry. Nothing you do will change their mind. So why don't you just avoid that topic? There's so many things you could connect on outside of that. Now, if you could give me some exact differences that you've dealt with in Japanese, I'd love to hear that. DS Brad 1, konbanwa, George. Glad I could get a live stream tonight. I'm always working when you usually go live. That's kind of why I thought I should live stream. The other big reason was I hadn't done anything all day, and I figured this would be a good way to get out of my, I wouldn't call it a funk, but I was just really not wanting to do anything. Just sat there, literally just watching the first 5 minutes of something and then falling asleep, then waking up, then rewinding and watching the first 5 minutes again, then falling asleep over and over again. That's been all I've been doing all day. And I guess the other thing I did was I finally ordered 5 copies of the novel just to see. This is the only version I have right now. I gave my last one to my friend Kyle. He has the last copy that I had of the more recent version. But yesterday I went through, like I said, all the edits, and then I was able to put in a new copy with the new cover, and that should arrive. I'll show you guys that when it comes. I'm pretty excited for that. I am going to still keep going. I'm only on I'm so used to saying lessons for chapters. Chapter 10. But there's definitely things I would like to remove. Like, for example, that entire paragraph right there, which I just saw yesterday has not yet been removed. Kind of what I was going through, I was like, let me try to remove the first paragraph of every chapter and see if it works. Sometimes you overload people with information in that first chapter. Sean Stapleton, same situation. With culture, is that? No, different person. Oh, the work thing. Oh, I see. I misunderstood. I thought you were adding to Sean, not adding to DS Brad. I got confused. Yeah, I'm sorry that this probably isn't going to be the greatest. It might be only in the top 101 greatest streams. No one's really... The only way these streams get good is if you guys say things and then I respond. That's what I need. I'm an extrovert. I need the feedback in order to create content. So it's kind of like office hours with you as part of the starring team, really. Well, why don't you guys tell me what you guys do? Oh, that's another thing I meant to ask the other day. I don't know who watches anything that I do. I really don't understand the demographic. And I think in my mind that makes me think that it's younger people. But I don't think that's the case. I think there's probably a bunch of 30-year-olds in here. So I'm curious. How old are you? Do you like an ASL? Right? ASL. Is that what it was? ASL? Age, sex, location. Yeah, ASL. Where are you from? What do you do? ASLO. Let's call it also. Age, location, sex, occupation. How about that? I'll start with me. 53. Las Vegas, or Henderson to be exact, Nevada. Male. Occupation, publisher. That's what I would say. I'm a publisher. All right. DS Brad said about cultural differences. I married a Muslim. Oh, man. talking about our differences built a stronger bond between us. We've been married close to 25 years. Okay, that's great. I think the hardest one is a religion difference. That's the hardest one. The religion difference isn't that much of a problem when you're married. It's when you have children. Because when you have children, it's like, well, I want them to know Allah. Well, I want them to know Jesus Christ. He's like, that's the gotcha right there. Jay's 36 male, Charlotte, North Carolina. 36. Still very young. North Carolina. I think we had a server there a long time ago. That's the only connection I know of North Carolina. I know nothing about North Carolina. Never have I been there. I was thinking I need to go find some meetups and go to them. There was one I was going to go to, but my friend from Japan was visiting and I couldn't go. It was some meetup in downtown Las Vegas for business people. And I have a feeling it was one of those events where you go and they do a lot of things, but they're trying to sell you stuff. So I'm kind of glad I didn't go, honestly. Seems boring, that kind of thing. I never want to buy anything from anybody either. There's no system that's going to help my company, you know? There's no like, if you get our special plan, we'll increase your retention by 2%. No, you won't. Michael Jordan is from North Carolina. Oh, interesting. Oh, I saw something. I'm trying to remember it. It was about the first heavyweight boxer. That was a black guy that beat a white guy. Yeah, I can't remember it. If I do, I'll say it. 58. See, I wasn't ready for 58. Philadelphia, 2 children, IT, and I'm an atheist. So wife and I butt heads a bit. Yeah, if you're a Muslim and your wife's atheist, yeah. I mean, I would say it's better to be one has religion and the other doesn't versus both have different religions. That's 2 sides of the same crazy coin. Sorry, I don't believe in any religion, so it's not that I don't believe there's a God. I just don't believe if there is a God, which is I cannot rule out. It's not the God that we have envisioned. I don't think we have the creativity to even understand what a God with the power to build all of this, our Earth, the universe, the surrounding universe, the black holes, whatever other universes there are, whatever multi-dimensions there are. I don't think there's any way we could understand that type of a God. And I think that us humans, we want to understand. It's our nature to want to understand. So I don't even think a lot of religion comes from pure fabrication. I think it comes from the way that an event might be what's the word I'm looking for? Processed in your head. You know, it's like, so for example, if I hear a sound in my house, I immediately jump to there's someone in the house. When the real truth is the ice machine just kicked out some ice. There's no one in my house. And, you know, and if someone sees a light off in the distance in a forest, they don't imagine it's just another bunch of campers playing around. It's a ghost. It's a UFO. And then that becomes this legend, right? You see an ape in the forest and now it's Sasquatch. Whatever. I mean, yeah, there could be Sasquatch, but my point being that it's how we perceive the events and then we relay that to other people. And as you know, when humans relay things, they change them. You know, eyewitness testimony is completely unreliable. And they've proven that over and over again. You know, I think I said this a while back as well, but me and my friends witnessed a murder in California a few years back, maybe 4 years back now. So we were up on the pier. Me and Mike and Silt and my wife were walking on the pier, and I won't say all the details, but let me just say this. A person got killed right in front of us, and we're all going to be, me and Mike are going to be called to court probably in a few months. They keep delaying it. It's been years, you know. But when we've had discussions about certain parts of the case, Mike's recollection, my recollection, and my wife's recollection of very basic things are all different, completely different. Completely different. Like, I don't even know how you would have that thought in your head. That's not what happened. But I see the thought in my head. So now I want to imagine you're on a mountain and a bush is burning, and that becomes the 10 Commandments. You know what I mean? That becomes the 10 Commandments. Or, you know, you're on the bush, you see the bush, it's burning, and you think, I could use this to get these people to be more good towards each other, and I'll give these rules. I'm just saying, humans have I wrote a whole novel completely of fantasy in my head. Harry Potter is a complete fantasy with amazing details. Couldn't the Bible just be that, but written by many, many men over time and added to? Humans have a certain amount of creativity. And, you know, when I'm watching, you know, Kore Kore or these other type true crime things, people lie insanely well. I believe them all the way until the end, until they just admit they finally lied, or they get caught in the lie so deep that they can't keep lying. So it seems much more plausible to me, especially since the three Abrahamic religions all started with one thing, and then this group doesn't agree, so they create their other thing, and then this group here doesn't agree, so they create the other thing, and now we have three, literally, you know, Judaism, Catholicism, and the Islamic religions are all based on the same original story. They all start in the same path. Where was I going with this? I'm just saying I think it's difficult to be atheist, to be two different religions married. That's got to be more difficult than one guy doesn't believe and the other one does. Because the other one that does believe thinks eventually maybe the other guy will believe. But when you both believe in a pardon my mean way to talk, but in what I see as a complete crazy story, okay, you're both crazy. So you're both going to fight for different things. Atheist is going to be like, okay, I mean, I get it. You believe that, that's fine. I think that's how I feel, at least. I'm not going to push you too hard. I just don't believe we know what the God is. I think we need that story to be happy, to not go crazy with things. Wow, I did it again. I ended up talking about religion when I didn't want to. Sorry. Scroll up here. Do you like to tutor like on italki? No. I've never tutored on italki. And when I used to teach live classes here in Las Vegas, I used to always bow out of the single classes. I like group classes more than single classes. There's a lot of pressure on a student and a teacher during a group class, and it's during a one-on-one class. Some guy, it was probably not true, he offered me $1,000 an hour to tutor. Now, I don't think it was a real offer, but let's say it was. I still said no. I still don't want to do it, even for $1,000 an hour. Cody Bilbray says, I spent 3.5 hours handwriting Japanese, 8 pages to study with a friend. I was so excited, but he told me he didn't want to study that way with me because it was too advanced. You know, Cody, I think you'll find that the great things that you're going to do in your life, you're going to end up having to do alone. Most people, I really believe most people are not ADHD enough to do some things. You need to be able to just go hardcore on something, and normally that hardcore isn't going to be matched by another person. So just imagine you have to do it alone. There was like some HP ad that I saw a long time ago. I'd love to talk about it, but I wish I could find it because it was a great ad. But it's just a man like sitting on a floor, maybe with his laptop, or maybe he was at his desk, and the ad was like, this is what it's like to succeed. You alone on your laptop late at night, something like that. And it hit hard because that's what I do. I just work on stuff crazily. and in spurts, you know, and then eventually I have a thing that I can output. I do like italki though, for sure, as a way to learn Japanese. Going back to your thing, VI, but I don't want to do it. Sorry, I don't know why I jumped right back. I had a senior moment. I jumped right back up to the previous one. I am a Muslim and I like Buddhism, so I have two religions. Well, I will say my understanding of Buddhism is that the first person, the Dalai Lama or whoever it was, not who was Buddha, the first Buddha, said this is not a religion. So it's not, I don't consider it a religion. And I think the people that make it a religion are idiots. I think it's weird. The guy that made it said this isn't a religion, but then they make it a religion. It's like, okay, you're literally going against the God that you're making out of Buddhism. Now, I will say that every time I've seen something really cool that I agree with, it tends to be Buddhism. So I guess if I had to adopt a religion, it would be that. Cody says, I am a systematic in my, I am systematic. I thought you were saying you're a type of religion. I'm sorry. I'm systematic in my approach to learning, but I think it's important to have fun while learning too sometimes. Or how about all the time? Cody says, I agree with your philosophy. It's okay to take an easy word today and a super advanced word tomorrow because it's all Japanese and it's all part of the learning the language. Yeah, I think it's hard to do it any other way if you're experiencing Japanese in the world. And Jay's, that's called the God of the gaps. Ooh, I've never heard that term. Argument. Whatever you don't fully understand, insert God, and now we understand. You know, I will say, I think it's awesome if you believe. Not because what you believe is awesome. I think it's just cool if you have all the answers. I guess I could say also the other side of that coin is you're never going to be curious if you have all the answers. You know, so many things. I wonder how many like amazing things we could have done as a human race beyond what we've already done if we never had religion stopping it. You know, Cody says, I was just surprised when he told me no. I've helped him out so much with English. We were meeting every week for more than a year, and now we haven't met for the last month. Well, you know, Cody, I think a friend that says no is actually a good friend. I think that's not a bad thing to say no. If you have a friend that just always says yes to you, that's awesome, right? But they're not maybe really a friend because they won't stop you from doing something stupid. Like, Cody, I don't want to study the way that you're studying. I'm not that way. I'm not a studier. I'm not a systematic studier at all. I chase the things that I think are awesome. And I've had a Chinese friend. I had my Chinese friend that I was talking to a lot on Hello Talk. She said she was going to teach me all the Chinese idioms. And I said, no, you're not. I don't want to know them. I don't need to know them. I don't want to know them. So you're not going to teach them to me. And that was it. She's like, okay. And we just went back to normal conversation. I didn't want to learn those. Sounds in the house. I think the same thing. Wife thinks it's a ghost. Yeah, it's usually some kind of mechanical sound or the cats. And I still get freaked out when I see those sounds in the house. It's like, when I had the office over at, I almost said the street name, but there's a house like 5 minutes away from here. And that house was a single story, so you could hear the refrigerator really easily drop the ice into the machine. But every time I heard it, I was like, my hair stood up on end, and I'm like, and I even bought a bat. I have a bat in this house too, just in case, you know. But I'm like, every time it was the ice machine, and I still got paranoid. Miracle Matt, hey George, where can I send you the link to a friend's YouTube channel so you can check it out and decide I'm promoting it or not? You might as well not send it. I don't really want to be promoting other people's channels. I'm over here. I'm over here trying my best to promote my own stuff, you know? And I don't even barely do that. I'm just here talking. So, I mean, you could send it on Discord. At Polyglot George is my username, but I only get depressed when I see other people doing channels, things that I could have done myself. I don't handle it well. Mark Learns Japan. I don't believe in the writings of the Bible or in God, but when I go to church, I always leave feeling better about life. Today's sermon was about accepting that you can only control your own actions. Only you can control your own actions. When I was visiting Georgia, I did go to church once. On the last day, I went to church. It was a Sunday. I'll be honest, I was leaving on the Sunday so I wouldn't have to go to church. But then I realized, I don't make my mom happy because she believes. She's an extreme believer. So I went and I listened. And the whole time I was just thinking about all the money this church spends to do these insanely perfect concerts. Because it was like they had bands, not bands, but they had a drummer and a guitarist and a bass. And the pastor guy was singing and he was great. It was just really awesome. It was amazing. Everyone loved it. And the church was like immaculate. Just a well put together performance. And I think the thing I came away from thinking I really enjoyed about the church was the community aspect of it. I mean, I really just think we should do that as people, would just have a community, you know? And I thought, how cool would it be if we all would meet up every Sunday at the community center and a couple people would talk, and then one guy would come up and he'd say, hey, I know some of our older residents are struggling with their bills, or they have an AC that's broken. Well, Bob here has volunteered so many hours of his time every week. He's going to fix your AC. We have a certain amount of donations that you guys have been piling in for this type of thing. So in that fund, we'll be able to, if you know, apply for assistance and we can come help you. That would be so cool. And don't bring in God. Don't even make it church, and not just, don't go a little bit step beyond, go a step beyond non-denominational and just be like, no denomination, like no God. There's no God. We're not going to even talk about God, but we're going to be here. If you really want to help people, help anybody, not just the people that believe in your religion or that came to the church, you know. And I know that a lot of churches do that, but I'm just saying, I don't want to go to a church that's preaching to me. I don't want that. I would rather go to a church that, not even a church, just go to a place where it's like, hey guys, you know, Bob Johnson, he's 92. He fell and he hurt his ankle and he's having a hard time, but he's moving at the end of the month and he needs to clean out his garage, and he really would appreciate if you guys could go over and help. And then we all go over and help. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? The co-owner of the From Zero side of the business, Justin, used to go to Mexico, I don't know if he still does, with his church, and they would help build houses. And I thought that was awesome. Like, that's a cool thing. When churches do things like that, I think that's really awesome. Okay. Victor says, how you doing, George? Have you ever gave someone a truth bomb through text message so hard they blocked you instantly? No, I have been blocked. I have been blocked, and I have blocked. But not because I gave them a truth bomb. The problem with text is it sounds much worse than it is when it comes out of your mouth. I have given people truth bombs so hard that maybe if it was in text, they would have blocked me, but I always say it to their face. I pretty much always, or I call them. If I'm talking really hardcore about someone behind their back, I'll just call them. And if I ever call you and I say, hey, were your ears ringing? It means I was talking about you. Because that's an old wives' tale, that if your ears were ringing, someone's talking about you. Like, you know that Ken Cannon guy, right? Well, maybe you know him or maybe you don't. But Ken Cannon, he teaches Japanese, and he has Japanese through anime. I hate the guy. Don't support him, please. He's an absolute. He's actually just trying to get your money. He's not trying to do anything beneficial for the world. But he put up this new. He put up a new video for his Protocol 80 or something like that plan. And it's my opinion that he's a scammer, okay? From way back. He scammed one time, I guess. But I feel like the way he does business is scammy. Not that he's a scammer. I don't know what he's done recently. But anyway, the way that he was selling the course was so bad, in my opinion, that I literally called up our CTO and Justin, the other co-owner of the business, said, "You guys look at this. Look at what this guy's doing." And then I said, "You know what? Let me hang up on you guys." And I called Ken and I said, "Ken, you can't do this, man. You're promising." He promised to teach 90. At the end of our course, you will know 90% of Japanese. That's what he said. Now, keep in mind, I have 5 book series. I have 5 courses on the website, and that's years of development. And you think like a 30-day course or however long his course was, you're going to know 90% of Japanese? I don't even know 90% of Japanese. There's definitely more than 10% of the words that I don't know. Okay. And you're saying you can not even meet the people in real life, but just do it through videos. And I said, "You can't do that." And he says, "Oh, no, I meant 90% of the Japanese in the videos that we're going to be watching." I was like, "Then make your video new and say that." And he never did. So I don't think he cares. As long as he gets the money, he doesn't care. That's my opinion on him. So that I called him right away though. I don't do texts with that kind of a thing. I just call right away. Now, I did block a friend recently. I blocked them, and I have unblocked them. I don't think that they know. It's been about a month, but I unblocked them. I'm reconsidering, but I definitely have to have a truth bomb discussion with them and say, "Look, bro, you might think the way that you think, but you're not going to say those things to me. I can't change how you think, but I'm not the kind of guy that you're going to be able to, because I like the guy, you know? I like the guy. I can forgive people for having wrong opinions. You know, I'm not going to, my dad has wrong opinions, you know? Some of my best friends in history have bad opinions. It doesn't end the relationship, but it was shocking to see this person do that, so I did block him, but I've cooled down. Which country is more racist? Where was I? Oh my God. USA or Japan? You know, Nightmare, I think both countries are the same amount of racism. And I'll tell you why. When you start watching like the news and inflammatory rage bait type YouTube videos about Japan becoming more MAGA or America with its immigration issues or whatever Trump's doing, and you only see that, they both look pretty bad. But I'm treading light here as much as I can. But when you really think about it, if you hadn't watched any of those videos, would you know any of those things? You wouldn't. You know, like when I go to Japan, yeah, there's a lot of foreigners there, but I don't notice any more racism against me, even though I'm seeing more reports of these racist things. And I've never seen ICE in Las Vegas, even though they might have come here. I've never, just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not happening. I'm just saying overall, I think both countries have those people, and those people that are racist get put on blast on social media. So it looks like it's everywhere. And I'll give you 2 other prime examples. We had these riots in LA here in America when Rodney King was attacked by the police or beat by the police. And so when I was in Japan and I was flying to America during those riots, and because of what I had seen just on the news in Japan, I thought for sure America was on fire. But literally it was nothing. Everywhere I went, there was nothing. It was just this small part of Koreatown that had the same events shown over and over again on the news, and it looked like it was crazy, right? Now, I have been to Israel. I'm not Jewish, but I went to interpret for in Israel one time. And the day that I left Israel, after being there for I think like a week or so, they were calling it the Parade of Death. But I didn't see anything. So I was like, well, where's this Parade of Death? But so I think we aggrandize things so much that we don't realize that even Ukraine, I haven't been there, but there's people that are working normal every day in Ukraine, even though they're in a war. So even in war, there's normal things happening. So if that can happen. You can have racists in pockets, but I don't think you can say an entire country is racist or which one is more or not. I mean, if I had to choose, I would have always sided on the fact saying that America's more racist, but can you really keep saying Japan is just xenophobic? But can you really just say an entire country is xenophobic or an entire country is racist? There are bad people in every country. I've met racism in Japan, and I've seen racism in America, even with my own wife, just me and my wife. I've seen it, witnessed it in Alabama. It was, everyone looking at us real strange as we're walking down the street. Whether that was racism or not, or just like they thought my wife was beautiful, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know if I can say which one. I would say humans have a factor of race, a certain amount of racist people in it. Here's a response. USA is racist towards all races, whereas Japan is xenophobic towards immigrants. Well, what you don't know is that even Japan has, look up the burakumin, look that up. V1910, FYI, teachers on italki can offer group classes. Doesn't mean I want to do it. VI, I make too much money at this point to want to do it. Even 100 people in the group class, I really don't. Okay, maybe that's what I would do. Like if I definitely needed money, I would create an italki group class. That's what I would do. But right now, I'm not in desperate need of money. So I'm not trying to flex. I'm just saying I'm not looking for work per se. So Mark's talking to Victor. I messaged a friend with proof that her fiance was cheating on her with the best friend. I got blocked. And then she went on and got married. I had the cheating friend as a maid of honor and had two. Well, kids with the cheating husband. Oh, wait. Hang on. So then went on to get married. Had the cheating friend as maid of honor and had two kids with the cheating husband. Wow. I don't know. My dad's been married 5 times. I guess humans are complicated, right? It's a lot of drama here, guys. I think people want to be in denial sometimes, It's happier to be in denial. And she probably just didn't believe you, Victor. That's a tough one. I'm thinking of something to say about that, but I don't know what to say about that. Oh, man. What's my favorite Japanese movie and comedian? I don't know if I have a... Oh, okay. No, I have a current favorite. I have to say current favorite. It's -1, Godzilla. That was such a good movie. I loved it. Other movies that the only one I watched recently was Always 64 Sanchome. I really thought that was a fun, enjoyable movie to watch. Tonari no Totoro, just for the cat bus alone. Comedian Shimura Ken, for I like him. Yanagisawa Shingo, but these are all oldies. I mean, Shimura Ken's dead. Yanagisawa Shingo, I think he's still doing stuff. Uchan Nanchan was always a fun combination group for me. London Boots, they've all had their scandals though. You don't see them anymore. London Boots, at least. There's probably better ones now, but I'm not really keeping up on it, honestly. If you watch Japanese TV now, when I watched Japanese TV, there was a Chinese service that was streaming every Japanese channel for a bit. And so about maybe 2 years ago, I just was streaming all Japanese TV for a bit. And what surprised me was all the people that I knew from like 20 some years ago were still the only ones really on TV. There was really no new people up and coming. All of these old people, now they're like, 70 years old, are still running the networks over there or getting hired for shows. Not so rare was it to see new people getting into shows. Is chickshaw really used in real life to mean damn? Yeah, it is. Chickshaw. Chickshaw. Trying to think if I ever say it. Chickshaw. Only as a joke, maybe I say, chickshaw. Yeah, it's used. I don't know if I need a new watch band or what. This gets too sweaty. I'm gonna take this off. I don't know. It's irritating me right now. And I think it's chikusho, isn't it? Chikusho. Yukari? Yukari? I think it's chikusho, not chikusho. Not chikisho. Chikusho. Desktop vacuum, by the way. I thought it was a dumb gimmick, but it's actually really cool to have. You get crumbs on your desk, All right. I'm not going to say anything until there's another comment so I can actually have something to talk about. I don't know. I'm not in a creative mood right now. I can't think of anything to talk about that we haven't talked about already in the last 4 streams. Is it me? Am I in a fog right now? Normally I would have something interesting to say. I don't think, you know what it is? I haven't done anything since the last stream, except for process books. I've had a very boring existence. That's why I think I got to go do meetups so I can meet people and talk to people. What is it, 7 o'clock right now? Maybe I should leave. Maybe I should do something else with my life today. Why do most people learn swearing early when learning a new language? Because it's fun. It's fun. I've done it. We all do it. Because those words also get reactions. It's also fun. And they don't have the impact on you personally because they're just sounds coming out of your mouth. I did so much of that in Korean. I angered quite a few people in Korean. What's funny was with Korean, I would say perverted things and I would get really bad reactions. And that led me to believe that Koreans were much more conservative than Japanese people, because Japanese people, you could say really perverted things and they would just laugh at it. It was like part of the humor. But that humor didn't work with Koreans until my Korean got better. And then there was like a switch where all of a sudden my Korean was better. So now they accepted the jokes and they would laugh and make those jokes with me. And I just realized it's probably a skill level. If you just bump into a person and they're talking perverted things or swear words, but they have nothing to back it up, like a personality or other interesting things to say, maybe it's too much for them in Korea. But once my Korean was good enough, it was a completely different game. The only swear word you know in Japanese is kuso. Kuso. Yeah, that's the more shit one. But like you can have a hana kuso, right? That's a booger, a kuso in your nose, and then you can have mimi kuso. I think, wait, Yukari! Mimi kuso ってあるんだっけ？あるよね。耳垢と違うんだっけ？耳垢のことだよ。耳垢も耳クソ一緒。他のクソってある？ 鼻くそと耳くそ、目くそあるんだね。
あるよ。
うん。
でもあんまり言わないけどね、いろんな人。
ああ、なるほど。でも言ったらわかるよね。ちょっと目くそついてるよって。
それすごく恥ずかしいと思う。
でも言ったらわかるよね。
わかる。なんか目やにってわかる？
あ、目やにね。起きた時についてるやつね。
目やにって結構ちょっとなんかイメージあるじゃん。
うん。
でもわかんないよ。いろんな言い方があるから。
Okay, yeah. So yeah, there's mimi akka, which is earwax, but that could also be mimi kuso. Hanakuso, I think that's the only way you could say. There's hanamizu, which is snot, and then there's hanakuso, which is booger. But there's also meikuso, which is like shit in your eye. But there's also meyani for that one, another word. Swearing is a natural habit of everyone, is a sentiment that lingers, and because of the fullness of the heart, the mouth opens. I have no idea what you just said. It's very philosophical, but I don't know what you mean. I have no idea what you meant. There's kusobaba, correct. Kusobaba, kusojiji. See that a lot on Kore Kore channel. Yesterday I was going through the plot points of the novel with Violet, the original plot points, and it was pretty funny. The original story shifted so different from the original plot points, and some of the things that were in the original plot are just seem crazy now that they couldn't happen. I could show them to you, but I don't want to give you spoilers for anyone that might eventually read the book. All right, guys, you know what? I'm not feeling it today. I feel like an hour is good enough. Interactions. I guess weekends might not be good. I think more people have questions on the weekdays. So with that, I will leave, and I won't even leave with a song today. I'll just leave. Bye, guys.